Diddy is dead. And it wouldn't be to anyone's surprise if that was, aside from a figurative reference to his career and his freedom, but physical as well. You see, we live in a world right now where we have been far too habituated and made used to the idea of things just happening. See, when things happen to people, like that fellow whose name I can't mention, but remember that fellow who passed away through self-harm initially, while being watched the greatest prisoner, the most important, singular, most important prisoner in recent history was allowed to do himself in when all of the evidence attendant thereto, petechial hemorrhaging, thyroid cartilage fracture, hyoid bone fracture, trauma that could only occur through anterior to posterior compression and strangulation. Despite all of that, the entire world just nodded its head and said, okay. And we never found out anything like where all of the evidence was that was collected and seized, that theoretically and most probably contained evidence and information from the most important people on the face of the earth. Remember what Uncle Lenny's telling you. The two biggest areas right now, bar none in the world, for criminal activity is human trafficking and extortion, blackmail. Do you know what that's like? If I own your vote, your politics, your money, your finance, because I have evidence of you in living color, in flagrante delicto. Well, let's go back to Diddy. First, let me explain to you something. If you think anybody is safe in custody, federal, state, otherwise, you're out of your mind. In fact, the higher the custody, the easier it is to do some certain things. There's something in the books called a noose on a bun. And from the days, the black arts of poisoning, there is a way of adding multiple potions and concoctions that, when added and layered together, can bring about the cessation of one's vitality, if you get what I'm saying. So this guy goes from $25,000 a night hotels with complaints of oil, a lot of oil, 1,000 cans and tubes. He's buying industrial size, containers of oil. And I think you know what oil is for. Oil is for lubrication, extra duty lubrication, industrial strength lubrication. Okay? And this is the mindset of these people. They can do whatever they want. I'm Diddy. You can't touch me. You can't touch me. You don't know me. I'm the greatest thing. I'm an impresario. Freak-offs and parties and come on in and let's go. And it keeps escalating and escalating because not only does he enjoy whatever he's getting out of it, but there's a sense of, I have to do more. I have to increase the level and the degree of debauchery that I have been producing because I'm Diddy. And he goes from that world to having to use the restroom and squat like an animal over an aluminum basin, like a trough, like some circus act? You're an animal. Get up at 6 in the morning to make your bed and mop your cell and wear these clothes. And you're in these special housing units, these segregated housing units, these shoes where you're kept away. And then you're targeted. Who knows? Who knows if anybody someplace may figure, I'll get my bones by doing something to perhaps eliminate the problem. That is Mr. Combs, who's dead. He's dead figuratively. If he sees 55, good. And here's the best part. As I told you, we live in a world right now where nobody says anything. Nobody says, hey, we got to get to the bottom of this. No, we don't. Oh, yes, we do. That's America's beloved. No, it's not. And then we have people right now who are sitting back and they're saying, oh, my God. Because when he looks around and he understands, I'm not going anywhere. I am never going to see freedom. They are going to load me up. Look what they did to Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, and I'm not defending him, but this man was this with the Democratic Party, this with presidents and Hillary and Bill and Jeff. He owned Hollywood. He was invincible. And what he did and was alleged to have done and what he was convicted of doing, what he did was absolutely nothing compared to this. Human trafficking, kidnapping, fraud, coercion, force, arson, guns. You're going to see a supersedious indictment. You're going to see more people continuing to testify. This grand jury, this didn't just stop now. That's not all the charges. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden you have new people and new victims, and it starts growing and growing and growing. And he says, wait a minute, what's going on here? What did I do? Why am I so bad? And they think that. And then he eats his 3 lousy meals a day, 1,800 calories, by law, kept in some warming unit, and it's garbage, congealed garbage. It just sits there. Nobody's going to go to jail if the food's lousy. Hell, people have lousy food in hospitals. People who did nothing wrong. You think anybody's going to complain because his meatloaf was hard as a rock and had bugs in it? I don't think so. We live in a country right now where people confuse the idea of a jail versus a prison. A jail, the holding cell, he hasn't been convicted of anything. He's presumed innocent, but nobody cares. To them, they just see it as one big, prison. And people presume that if you're indicted, you must be guilty of something, so why not you? If he sees 55, November or something? There's a lot of people out there who were scared out of their minds. And what his defense is, if there is such a defense, there are some cases. And by the way, his lawyer has really got to watch it. His lawyer, because there are women involved, his lawyer can't make it seem as though they're lying, or this is all extortion, or I'm going to write this book about you unless you give me $30 million, because the bottom line, and we're going to be talking more about this, but as a lawyer, as a former prosecutor, and as your Uncle Lenny, I'm always going to tell you the truth. What they're doing right now is the reason why he wasn't allowed bail or granted bail was not because of his likelihood of fleeing. but because of the danger to the community. Remember the two elements of jail: to ensure appearance and to protect society. And they're going to go through and they're going to run these videos and they're going to look at those judges and say, you want to let this guy out? You want to let this psychopath out? Look what he did to this woman. And they tried to say, well, the reason why he beat her up and Skazi was because of that. And they're going to say, you're trying to countenance this? You're trying to justify this? Am I hearing this correctly? Oh, you're done. And then they're going to have the text and they're going to people say, I'm afraid of him. And then you're going to have his cohorts and his contemporaries who want him out of the way so they can take over whatever this gold mine is of his world. And then you're going to find out how much of it was artificial. This and the liquor lines and the clothes. But where did he get all of this money, these money lines? Who is responsible for this? He did not act alone, and that is the biggest problem. Is he going to try to give somebody up? Is he going to say, look, I'm going to make a deal with you? Make a deal with whom? I'm going to tell you really what goes on in the world of hip-hop and Hollywood and whatever. Oh, really? What if we're not interested? Look at Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, they're going to kill this guy. I don't know what they're doing, but they're going to kill him. And just when he hobbles out and he sees a glimmer of hope, of light, look what they do to President Trump. They got him on 34 charges of I don't even know what. This is the Wild West today. And once you get in the crosshairs, and once society says, you know what, we don't like you, Diddy, we don't like you, then they just focus everything they can on destroying you. Because that's where we are now. It's not enough just to ruin you. It's not enough just to, have you leave your industry, pay a fine, to ruin you financially. No. We have to eliminate you. Okay? Now, my friends, you better follow me here. I'm going to give you the straight poop. I got nothing against him. One way or the other. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the what I've been saying forever. This is a new world we live in right now, my friends. So I want you to do me the favor and the honor of following me. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live videos. Like this video. Liking is the most important thing in the world. And more importantly, more than anything else, your brilliance. I want you to, in the section provided, to comment as you see fit.